Avengers! Assemble.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Excelsior, the world's #1 Marvel's Avengers podcast. This is for the date of October 24th. I'm your director, Christian Buckley, joined by the Apex legend, Jack Martin.
Excelsior. I was thinking a lot, Christian.
Yes.
In those previous few seconds when you're introducing the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what next week is? A week from today.
I believe Halloween.
That's absolutely correct. Isn't that cool? We got a nice little episode on Halloween next week.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
We gotta do something for that, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's an audio only, or we have a video portion, but it's usually just gameplay.
Mm-hmm,
So, costumes won't
what?
do us any good.
No, I feel like this game should have a pumpkin somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
how is that too much to ask for? Can I just have one little pumpkin somewhere?
Like, remember during the Reassemble campaign on the deck of the Chimera, behind the war table, the entire time, there was just Cap's shield just sitting there. Just take that mantle, put a pumpkin up on that thing, call it a day. In the holiday season, put up a menorah and a Christmas wreath, and you're good.
Sure, that's literally all we need. I've been playing Apex Legends, and they got candles everywhere on the home screen and stuff like that. They're decked out for Halloween, and the Avengers is noticeably not. So, just one little pumpkin. That's all I ask for.
Yeah, maybe next year. You know, we've talked recently on the show about wanting a Halloween event. Very not related to Avengers, but I know Red Dead Online is doing their first Halloween event, and that game came out in 2018. So, better late than never. Maybe Avengers gets there eventually. Maybe the winter holidays are far enough away from launch and smoothing out these issues that they can take care of it. But this week, we're going to run through the brief news for the week, but there is a lot for players to access, so we will detail everything you need to know about that. And then at the end of the show, we're going to do our best to realistically predict the next 6 months of the game in terms of content. But before all that, why don't we just kick things off with Fury's report? First up, why don't we lead with this? Priority missions, once again, are not there. But they promise, they're like, guys, they're coming back. We're fixing some issues with them this week, which is strange that they didn't detail that last week. They were just like, oh yeah, don't worry, focus on the new stuff, they'll be back. This week it's like, we're fixing them, they'll be back. Like, that's odd, right?
Yeah, that's a little strange. My take on this, I really don't care. If they were like, oh, sorry, priority missions aren't coming back, I'd be like, what are priority missions? Not really, but like, I really don't even care about them all that much, so whatever.
Yeah, and like, there's still a priority harm room, and that's the thing I always do every week, because it gets you a comic, you know, guaranteed. It gets you this specific comic they post on the War Table blog. I like doing the harm room priority sets because they're a nice, like, change of pace in terms of what each round can be week to week, and it's good for me as someone who doesn't have all my characters at level 50 yet. Whoever I'm working on, I'll just hop in for the priority ones that week, and I'll do that. But speaking of getting comics in the harm rooms, this week we'll get you Ms. Marvel #2 from 2014. I recognize this one as an actual comic book that I have read. The cover is Kamala blowing a bubble gum, looking up at the, I was gonna say camera, but it's a cover of a comic book. You know, like, it's that perspective. It's like her doing like a pose on top of a rooftop, blowing bubbles. So,
is that a nameplate in this game?
it might be. I do know that there's an emote that you can get to have Kamala blow bubblegum if you do that 5 gum marketing thing. Did you see that before launch?
No.
I know Greg Miller did this. If you went to any store,
I remember.
And you bought 5 gum, there would be codes in the package, similar to how we've seen like Destiny do Pop-Tarts and stuff like that. Where if you enter a certain number of codes, you'll get emotes in the game and like unlockables, and one of them for Kamala was blowing a giant bubble. So
that's cool. I do like that. Side note, 5 gum still a thing? Question mark.
Yeah.
Stimulate your senses.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I imagine it feels like to chew 5 gum?
What, Christian?
Getting a ton of free stuff.
Yep.
So this week, as detailed in the Scott Amos State of the Game we talked about on last week's episode, we got our hands on the Player Appreciation Package. It is available to all players of Marvel's Avengers on every platform, starting now as yesterday, so the day before we're recording this, the day this episode is out, you can do this. Up until November 5th, you can redeem this. I think all you have to do is log in, and you will receive 1,500 credits, which is the microtransaction currency that will buy you stuff in the marketplace. 7,000 units that you can use on the vendor, right? Like the cosmetic vendor.
Yep.
Coffee lady.
Yeah, and the helicarrier.
250 upgrade modules if you want to get a head start on really fleshing out your gear kit. And then 20 DNA keys. Now, Jack, would you like to refresh the Agents of Excelsior on your DNA key farming exploit technique?
Sure. Well, first of all, dynamite segue. So yeah, the DNA keys is what you typically get after defeating a villain sector. And these keys can open up DNA strong boxes in the vault missions that you can find in various locations. They're usually in set locations. So you can look up videos on where they are. Now, the best way to operate these keys and strong boxes is to play the vault missions on Challenge 4. Because depending on the challenges, you get more resources from the boxes. So on Challenge 4, using the DNA keys on the strong boxes, you get 15 upgrade modules compared to, I think 10 that you would get on, Challenge 2, for example. So definitely do that. You don't even have to finish the vault mission. I never do. I just go get the strong boxes and then rinse, wash, and repeat depending on how many DNA keys that I have. So if you have 20 DNA keys, which will net, each one will net you 15 upgrade modules, that's 300 upgrade modules in total. So that's a significant amount.
Yeah, so add that to the 250 you get just for signing in, and you're probably set for a little while in terms of upgrading stuff for your characters.
Definitely.
And lastly, I think the most fun addition to this player appreciation package that we talked about last week is the Sarah Garza nameplate. That is not available yet. They did say it is coming in the coming weeks, so whenever that does hit, you'll be able to access that as well. Because you are the best, as they detailed. But yeah, overall, now that we've redeemed this, I think we were both positive on this initiative last week when they announced it. Has anything changed for you? Are you just happy to have all this stuff now?
Yeah, no, this is great. I think it's reasonable to expect little drops like this every once in a while, depending on, God forbid, any, catastrophes in the game that may come along with certain updates or whatever, or just little thank yous, or just little drops to say, hey, come back and check out the game, here's X, Y, and Z that we have for players from this date to this date. So yeah, this is a really good first start in that, and giving the sort of microtransaction currency, I think in particular the credits is pretty big, considering that I think that's the amount of credits you get after completing a challenge card. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I fully agree with the idea that we'd see more of this in the future. I think thank you packages, sure. I just think I don't think it'll be as robust as this offering.
I agree. I do think we'll see smaller ones, though.
Yeah, because the reason they've given for this package, the way they framed it is hey, we know it was a rocky launch, so since you're sticking with us, here you go. And considering people lost progress, people could not matchmake, people could barely play the game at times, things were crashing, I think this is enough of a stipend of hey, there you go. Hope you forgive us. Where in the future, I do see it more so if we do get an everyone package, it's more in line with what we're getting as PlayStation Plus members. Because in addition to this week, and I believe this is going to be a monthly thing, PlayStation Plus members can get a bonus pack that comes with units, so the green currency that you can use again on the cosmetic vendor, an exclusive Kamala skin. Her outfit's like red with some gold on it, as well as a Kamala nameplate. So those are only available to PlayStation Plus players of Marvel's Avengers. As we know, PlayStation has the good graces for this release. We'll get to, but
right. This is similar to Apex Legends. They also have, or that game also has PlayStation Plus exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's like, I don't know, like a Lifeline pack here and there. There's been an Octane pack every once in a while. So it reminds me of that. So that's nice.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what the offerings are for other characters as well, because as someone who really hasn't played Kamala much since the campaign, I'm curious to see what kind of skins we get into there, if it's like just colorways, or if it's going to be a fancy schmancy MCU skin eventually.
I'll say, based on the Apex stuff, it won't be anything
Yeah.
super worthwhile. It's usually just like, oh, that's nice to have, I guess, but like it doesn't make you want to go out and get PlayStation Plus, you know? So it's mostly just like a, hey, thanks for subscribing. Here's like some small.
Yeah, like Xbox PC people, as someone who has access to this, don't feel bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But now that we have all this stuff, we have all this currency, they are incentivizing you to spend it, because over the next few weeks, I believe, over the next month or so, they're doing I believe it's the next month. I can double check that, but they've detailed dates on the marketplace. So the microtransaction center, the hub of where you can spend money. They're doing an In Case You Missed It sale, which is going to be housing basically everything that's been featured in the marketplace so far at a discounted price. So instead of 1,400 credits for a skin, it's going to be 700. It's going to be 50 for nameplates instead of 100. And Jack, I want to ask you, as someone who has yet to purchase something, but yes, do you think this is a good price point? Do you think this is more appealing?
Yes, because I did purchase things from the marketplace because of this. I don't think I would have if it was just the 1,400 credits that they gave us. Because I think it's a lot. 1,400 is a lot. 700 I think is a lot more reasonable. Because essentially after you complete a challenge card and get the 1,400, that means you can buy 2 skins, right? That's essentially what that means if you want to do that. And I think that's fairly reasonable. I think if you complete an entire challenge card, which if you keep up with it, takes 3 weeks to complete. Like if you're doing your dailies and your weeklies and all that. So I think completing your challenge card and having enough credits for 2 skins, which would each cost 700 credits, I think that's very reasonable. And I think we should probably maybe ask Square and Crystal for that, constructively, of course. So yeah, I think the community's in the right place with that line of thinking.
Yeah. Worth noting, the War Table blog framed it in a slightly confusing way. Because we've had weekly resets, over the next few days, it's what was featured that week. So like today, it's the week 2 stuff. Tomorrow would be the week 3 stuff, I think. But yeah, I agree with you. Again, I haven't spent anything yet. I'm with you, at least until you got all the free currency, where I'm like holding out. I do want to save 1,000 for the Kate challenge card regardless, which I have. I think right now between my challenge cards and the free stuff, I'm at like 4,000 credits. So yeah, I'm with you though. I think it's a much more appealing price. The community is on the same page on the Play Avengers subreddit across the most recent popular posts. There were 2 posts both saying I would be more inclined to spend money on cosmetics if this was the set price, and somebody else saying, "Hey, can you just keep this way?" And both of them together had about like 2,000 upvotes, which is fairly large considering what at least I see be the higher number of upvotes for posts on that thread, and the devs are there, so I think they will see those two posts and see the support for that sentiment.
Yeah, and like to put this in perspective on what the credits actually equate to in real world money, 1,400 credits is $14. So you would essentially be spending $14 on a skin if you were to go buy the credits through like the PlayStation Store or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think $7 for a skin is much more reasonable, especially since this is a $60 game. Whereas like Apex Legends, and I don't know if Destiny does this, but
They do.
Okay. So Apex Legends in particular, I'm going to speak to that because I know that better, is a free game. It's free to play, and it's more reasonable for that game to charge more money for its skins because they're cosmetic based and it doesn't really matter, and players are going in paying nothing for the game. So it's more reasonable that way, and I feel like the prices are comparable between Apex and Avengers on like the big skins. So it's a little weird that thinking about it now that Avengers skins are that much. I do think it'd be more reasonable for them to be around 700.
Yeah, man, $14 is 2 meals at Chipotle. Like,
Yep.
like especially with the offerings they've given so far, no disrespect to like the people designing the costumes, but as a Thor main, there's not a chance I'd spend 2 chicken burrito bowls on that leopard print Thor skin. Like,
Yeah.
I think 7 is much more appetizing, I guess, especially considering you can earn this microtransaction currency through the cards. Like, I have a decent supply of it right now. I could splurge on some skins and still buy Kate, or still buy Kate's challenge card comfortably, and probably have some stuff left over at this point in time with the way that they dish out the credits. But yeah, I wonder if this is I could see this either be a goodwill thing of like, hey, in conjunction, thanks. I wonder if this is sort of the other half of giving the free stuff of like, hey, let's give you this credit, let's let you like incentivize you to spend it on the stuff that's already been in the store at a lower rate, before we get the new stuff. Like, so people spend this stuff now, and then it's like, oh, now Kate's here, let me just spend $10. Like, if it's that path, or if it's them testing the waters to see if they get an influx of purchases and see if this price structure works better.
Yeah, I do think. I think this in part is a like we're sorry, similar to how the player appreciation package went, but also what you were mentioning. It's probably a little bit of market research to see, are people spending more? They probably are. And I feel like they're probably gonna compare. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but they will probably compare however long this pricing model lasts to the most previous pricing model, and to see the differences in how much money they got from that and how many purchases were made. So I think that's really smart. But I bought 2 skins in this and 2 nameplates for Iron Man.
Nice.
I got the iconic red and gold Iron Man, and I got the variant that was black and gold. And then one of the nameplates I got was essentially just the red and gold, like, iconic armor, or the classic armor, I should say. And one of them was Tony holding his mask, and looking at it like straight on. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I saw the nameplate. It's a very cool nameplate. I like that one a lot. And while I haven't dipped into the microtransaction marketplace yet, I did buy the oh, what's it called? I think it's called the Protector skin for Cap. It's the one that looks like the first Avenger and final act of Winter Soldier one. Like it's got like sort of the plating, but it's like it looks soft, you know, like and it's
Yeah.
got the big white star. Like it's a really nice looking one. So the reason I bought that though is because I've been playing a little more Cap lately. So why don't we
Oh.
skew in over to our progress in the game this past week? I've played more Avengers in the last like 7 days than I probably have in those 2 middling weeks.
Yeah, I would probably believe you.
Yeah.
I didn't really play all that much, so you definitely played more than I did this week.
Yeah, so let me just give you an update. Thor is, of course, level cap. He's level 50, and he's at 147 right now. Because, listen, I've discovered a love for cosmic gear for Thor, and I'd very much like my build of Thor to be focused on the cosmic gear. So I would really, really like a exotic cosmic hammer, and then I'll commit to level 150 at that point. Like that's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I really like how the cosmic energy drains life and continues to let Thor be reckless, because that's how I play him. Um, so I like that security a lot. I like it more than Cryo. I like it. He already has the spark shock modifier because he's Thor. Um, so yeah, I like having the balance of the spark for like status effects and then the cosmic for life drain. I really really like that with him. Um, but I decided to spend some time with some alts this week. So Widow and Cap are now both level 50. Cap, as of like an hour ago, is level 50. Their gear score, their power level is significantly lower than Thor's at the moment, so I gotta work on that next. But once I do, I'll feel a lot better about doing the Mega Hive because this week I did it. I completed it.
Congratulations.
Jack, this thing took me so long. I spent all of Tuesday playing this Mega Hive. I probably did like 4 attempts, and it finally came together in the end. You know, I got a lucky run. Wasn't too overwhelming towards the end. Uh, Worth noting, Thor was my only character who was at the level to do it, so I had one shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's scary. Like you don't have any backups on your team.
No,
You
yeah.
just you have that one character and that's it.
Yeah, so I ran that. Got 2 pieces of exotic gear, because now that is confirmed after the update. And they were both very underwhelming.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I think I got Van braces, so like his top slot, like wrist guards, and I got a hammer. And the unfortunate thing is the hammer is cryo damage, and we've already established that I don't like cryo damage.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer. And there's a bug still, so this isn't really an issue, but it's worth addressing. Certain exotics will spawn with only showing 2 perks out of the 3. There's still a third perk there, just there's a bug that prevents it from showing. I don't know if that third perk is still active if you upgrade to that level, and you don't know what it is, but they are working on a patch, so when that patch hits, if you have an exotic with 3 slots and only 2 of them are filled, and then the third one is just like blank, that will fill in with a new perk once the update hits.
That's good because that's quite weird.
Yeah, it was very discouraging. I was like, man, after like
Yeah.
all this time. Okay.
Yeah, that's the risk you run with doing the Mega Hive.
Yeah. But I see in the doc you also completed the Mega Hive.
I sure did. I now feel more inclined to actually do the Mega Hives because, like what you said, we're guaranteed 2 exotics. So I did one with Iron Man. The best gear that I got, each perk corresponded to one of my heroics, and it increased the charge rate of said heroic by 18%.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I thought that was cool. So basically all of my heroics recharge at 18% speed. So that's nice. And then I got another one that the the perks weren't really all that useful, and it kind of messed with my precision, which is what I'm focusing on. So
Right.
I don't think I'll even use that.
Mm-hmm.
But I threw on. I had the presidential debates on last night in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and I was playing through the Gauntlet, or excuse me, the Mega Hive, and now I'm on Gauntlet 7 of 8 now for this week.
Very nice.
So just have to complete that.
Are you running that with Iron Man as well?
I am also running that with Iron Man. Yeah, I think I'm
Nice.
probably just gonna keep doing that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's really safe to play as Iron Man because I can just float up and be away from the fray. And if I ever am in like imminent danger, I throw on Hulkbuster, who like recharges your health and just gives you armor that can't be penetrated. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty safe to do it as Iron Man for me right now.
Yeah, that's what I really like about Thor 2, where my ultimates and the flight just gives me an easy way to run for a second, and depending on what ultimates I have queued up, I can just regen. So it's very nice. It's helpful, especially for this type of gauntlet. I did also see though a handful of people were grinding the Tachyon Rift missions for exotics.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they get them? I didn't realize Tachyon Rifts give all that many exotics.
So it sounds like it's by chance. I think you have a higher percentage of getting an exotic drop on your first run of a Tachyon Rift for the week, but I saw a ton of people on the subreddit being like, hey, on my third attempt, or my third time playing a Tachyon Rift this week, I got an exotic. And
Interesting.
they're running the solo ones because they give you those are easier. They give you more time if you fly through a rift in a solo run than a multiplayer run. So if that's something you're looking to trying, it sounds like you're supposed to try running it solo, which they're not really hard, and you can get them done in like 10 minutes each probably. So yeah, I attempted it. I did like probably 5 or 6 in a row this past week. Unfortunately, no exotics, but I really want an exotic cosmic hammer, man. That's what I want, so bad.
Yeah, you gotta keep playing those roles. Maybe
Yeah.
one day. Another update from me that I forgot to write down here. Trophy update. Very exciting for me and you and probably no one else.
Mm-hmm.
But here we go. I completed 50 hives.
Ooh, very
which
nice.
takes forever. But the best way to do this is to just do the mega hive every week because that's 8 hives right there. They count towards the trophy.
That's fantastic. And I would assume failures of the Mega Hive, those, the ones you complete at least, do those still count?
I would assume so. Like if you complete, in the mega hive, it's like 5 floors. If you complete all those floors, and you get back to the helicarrier, believe that counts. Because I got the trophy when I was doing the mega hive, and I don't think I got it at the end of my run. I think it was probably in the middle somewhere.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I would recommend that to anyone maybe looking for that trophy. Just run the mega hive.
Great. I must be close then, because I've died a lot on that thing. But I think that is it for our progress for the week. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, I think that was pretty much it. I didn't play too much. It was mostly focused on between the past 2 episodes doing a couple mega hives.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to hop in to the Tachyon resets for the week to try to see if I can get an exotic cosmic thing, but maybe we do the Mega Hive again in the next 7 days. We'll see what happens. But looking to the future, though, it's time to get into stark realities. We decided that considering we just got hit with delays, we still haven't figured out a solid roadmap officially. We do have the state of the game that we discussed last week, but we don't have a full-blown this here, then this, next that, and then later, check this out. Like, we don't have that yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to give our predictions for what to expect over the next, like, 6-ish months, maybe, based on leaks, what Crystal has said about upcoming content with the state of the game last week. So why don't we start where we know? Well, actually, before we get to November, do you think there's anything else in October?
No, October is done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, if they don't have Kate coming out this month, I don't think they have anything else.
Yeah. So there is the question of the raid still. There is the question of the Omega level threat, the AIM cloning lab, which is not the raid, but it is raid like, I think.
Oh boy.
If anything hits this month, I could see it be the cloning lab, since it's just like a multiplayer thing and it's not the big raid and it's not the new content that comes with Kate, right? Like I could see maybe that hit.
Yeah, I don't know. We have 1 week left of October, I believe. So, it's coming in hot if that's the case.
Please forgive my ignorance. I did not realize where we were in the month.
That's fair. Time has no meaning this year.
Yeah, so November. Kate, for sure, right? Kate is a lock for November now. It was supposed to be October, but after the delay, we know Kate is November. I do not see Kate getting delayed again.
Now, I sure hope it's a lock. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, but who knows? But yes, I agree. Most likely, 90%, yes, we get Kate.
Yeah, so Kate is going to bring with her a new war zone, I believe, a new villain sector, because we officially know that every character is going to be bringing a new villain to the game, as well as their campaign and all that stuff. So, Kate, do you think she hits like mid-month, beginning of the month, end of the month?
Probably mid, I would say. That's probably a safe bet.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd like to get her out as soon as possible, but yeah, we got next gen consoles next month. You know, there's no next gen versions, so maybe to incentivize all these people distracted after they get their PS5s and Xbox Series, they're like, hey, new hero, play it now. So I think that mid month, I think you made the right call there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the PlayStation's November 16th or 13th,
12th,
and then and then Xbox is, when is that? 19th? 10th? Yes. Why don't I remember these dates? So yeah, they're right around the middle of the month, so I think that'd be a good idea. And like we've been mentioning, like this game's gonna have like little sales peaks and valleys, of course, but like the peaks will be around the new characters. So I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Plus, Black Friday, that's gonna be a big thing. So I think the game is probably going to do well next month. We'll see. But I did see earlier today the game sold 2.2 million copies digitally. So, pretty good.
That is very good, yeah.
Do you think anything else hits November? Do you think we get the Cloning Lab in November?
I think Cloning Lab is possible. I'm wondering about... No, I think that's December. I was going to say Hawkeye, Clint. I think that's December. So I think Cloning Lab is possible in November. I think that is a much needed new addition to the game that is multiplayer focused.
Yeah, I agree, because I've been playing the game solo a lot lately, and I was thinking about it this morning as I was grinding Captain America for 2 hours. I was like, what could I even play with a friend right now? Just this? Like, it would be that.
Yeah, it's nothing worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's nothing that requires strategy or anything you would expect in like a cooperative multiplayer game. It's kind of just like what we were doing in the past few months, just kind of, playing around and not really even focusing on the game, just talking about whatever. So
yeah,
I think the Cloning Lab is necessary to add that element to the game.
Yeah, and again, it's worth reiterating, the Cloning Lab is not the raid. According to the state of the game last week, it's like, it's raid-like, so I don't understand it.
I believe the Omega threat level things are raid challenges, right? I honestly don't even know.
All right, well, we'll see what happens about that.
Who knows?
But I think you're right in assuming Clint is going to hit December, where I think just because they went in on Hawkeye and Hawkeye being the double feature, that I don't they have every reason to push him as well. It's like, if you want to spread that, you don't want to double up on that content too much, right? Like if Kate hits mid-month, why drop Clint at the end of the month when people are busy with Cyberpunk,
Yeah. I think it's fair to say month by month, hopefully, at least within the first year, I think we'll get a new character. So I think Kate, Clint being November, December is smart.
Yeah, I agree. And I could see him hit any point, maybe mid-month again. I don't know. I could see him hit beginning. We'll see.
Sure.
Um, Now, because the raid is ambiguous and we don't really know what it fully is yet, um, I don't know if they'd save that for January or drop that in December as well. Do you have like any strong feeling one way or the other?
I was initially thinking December, but given that, I think it should be December. I'll tell you that. But
Mm-hmm.
um, given that this game is based on sort of monthly updates, I think having Clint in December is big enough to warrant its own sort of month of content, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And then January coming in with the raid is a good way to get people back into the game in a new year. So I think January might be possible for the raid.
Yeah, I believe you are right. Now, again, we don't know what to expect content or setting wise from this raid. I don't know if it's an aim thing or what, but we do know, thanks to some leaks, maybe if you're sensitive to that, skip ahead a little bit. Um, Wakanda is going to be the location of a raid. I don't know if it's the raid they've been teasing, but it is a raid absolutely. So, considering we were going to get the Black Panther reveal at the last War Table, I think January might be big for this game. I think January might be the biggest month so far.
You thinking Wakanda in January?
I'm thinking Wakanda, Black Panther, and the raid.
Yeah. I mean, Black Panther and Wakanda, I think, will just be one piece of content, obviously.
Yeah, well, worth adding, I think I don't know if there would be a hub there of like the Substation Zero and the Anthill. I could see them maybe do that. I don't know why they'd want another social space if the two we have right now feel kind of sparse, but if it's just set dressing, sure. I'd like to walk around Wakanda as a social
Yeah.
hub, you know?
I actually do think they will add that. Because, like, there'll be, certainly, you would expect there'd be another faction there.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a place you'd have to go, like, in person to pick up their stuff. And that'd be another place to increase your faction rank. Because I expect that there will be more than just S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Inhumans. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. So yeah, I think Wakanda in January with the raid and Black Panther. I feel like that's pretty safe. You know, like those three things I think are absolutely dropping together. It's a matter of when. I think January is probably likely. If the plan was maybe December for that originally, but
Yeah. I think January to March, I would say,
yeah,
is reasonable to expect.
mm-hmm. So we're gonna be optimistic and say January.
Yeah.
Now, February.
Mm-hmm.
February is where it get interesting because at this point, the only other hero that we have some sort of official confirmation of is Spider-Man.
That's right.
We do have leaks. There are several leaks, extensive leaks on the characters that are going to be coming to this game. Now, this is where we really start to get a little speculative, right? When I say February, I think it's going to be light. I think it's going to be just a character because we have such a big, heavy January. I'm going to say in February, we get War Machine.
Yep, 100%.
And I think his campaign for Valentine's Day, it's a buddy story with Tony. It's the two of them co-oping a mission, doing something like the two of them teaming up, something like that.
Also, February is Black History Month, so I think that's.
Oh.
I don't know if they want to like go into that, but I do think that could be an important story to tell with Rhodey.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's a really good inclusion to have in that specific month.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know if they want to do that as a Marvel's Avengers game,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it could be. It could be topical given that month, and with Rhodey's character, they could do something interesting with that. So, yeah. But besides that, in general, I do think Rhodey is a character we can expect some point soon.
Yeah, and the reason I think he will be the first of, I mean, it's tough with like Kate and Clint because they're the same character kind of in terms of like their structure. comparing to Smash Bros, where there's the Echo Fighters, it's like, okay, it's like the same person, just slightly tweaked. The reason I think Rhodey is probably going to be the first big, notable Echo, because you assume he'd play similar to Iron Man, is because I'm assuming a lot of people like playing as Iron Man, and if they both can't, try to get that option out as soon as possible.
I am very excited for War Machine to hit at some point or another. So I hope it's sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Now, March. For some reason in my head, I think March is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I do think Spider-Man is in the very early part of 2021. I think they've said spring 2021, haven't they?
I believe so. I think there was also a listing on some website recently that said Spider-Man was March 2021. That could just be false. That could be a placeholder. Worth noting, the end of March is the end of the fiscal year for companies, so I could see them try to really push getting the next-gen version of the game out in March, Spider-Man out in March, just for like a really strong push of like, if you're not in yet, maybe it's on sale, there's all this new content in here, buy in now so our report for the end of fiscal year looks very good.
Mm-hmm. I'm reading and that's a really good point. I'm reading a Games Radar article saying that Spider-Man is coming to PlayStation players in early 2021.
Okay.
But I think spring I think March is definitely a possibility there.
Now, I really, here's the thing. I think March is going to be big for the game, partly because of the fiscal year stuff, but also because there is a big install base there should be an install base on next gen at that point. So I'm believing that's when the next gen version will hit. We just recently got news of the delay, so I think we could see it then. I think by then for sure we see it. So
I actually think that's really early. I don't know if we would see it then.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm being a little too hopeful about it, but considering that the plan was to have it ready for console launch, I think 3 months is probably all right.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that was the plan, to have it ready and rearing to go. So yeah, now that you say that could be possible. Mm-hmm. I also think it could be possible that they just hold it off for another year, similar to what Halo's doing. Obviously, Infinite has well, now that I say that, I was going to say Infinite has a lot more issues than Marvel's Avengers. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the case. I think maybe perception-wise it probably does. Although now that I say that, it's probably equal. But it's entirely possible that they just hold off the next-gen version until fall of 2021 to basically just have essentially like a relaunch of the game. To sort of have another, like what we've been talking about, another peak in sales. Mm-hmm. Because essentially that's just launching a game to a new audience or giving the game to your old audience as a free upgrade, basically as an incentive to get them back into the game. Mm-hmm. And I think a year out is a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's a completely reasonable thing to look at it as, So we'll see how that shakes out. But my other question about March is, we know Spider-Man is a PlayStation exclusive character. Mm-hmm. Do you see them taking March, putting it aside, being like, hey, on Xbox you get the next gen version upgrade for free, but the only new content drop this month is on PlayStation? Or do you see them dropping maybe another Echo character with a campaign for every console, and then PlayStation just gets 2 that month?
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. I think I would expect 2 characters. One that everyone gets, maybe at the beginning or the end of the month, and Spider-Man, just for PlayStation, at a tail end of the month. Because, like, I see what you're saying. Like, that could be an incentive to get the PlayStation version, and, like, because otherwise that would be a dead month for Xbox and PC players.
Right.
But I do think they want to give, content to all their player base, of course. So I think it's possible that we'll get 2 characters that month.
Now, who do you think we get in March on everybody's system? Is it another Echo character? Is it somebody new? Like, you've read some of the leaks. I led with Rhodey for February. Who are you feeling for March?
Yeah, I would expect an Echo character. Now that I don't think I've read too many of the leaks. I know Rhodey for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, based off of your approach to including Rhodey because people like to play Iron Man, I would say maybe Bucky as a Echo
Oh.
character for Cap. Because I think Captain America is very popular to play in this
Mm-hmm.
game, from what I've been reading. So yeah, I think it's smart to have Echo characters for the super popular characters out first.
Yeah.
That way, if you run into a situation where you want to play as someone and your friend want to play as someone, you have that option if you level up both characters.
Good call. Um, April is the furthest out at the moment in terms of filling in the gaps, right? Because we have ideas. We know there's a raid coming. We know Spider-Man. We know there's a next gen version. But like April is really when I think it's anybody's guess. Uh,
Yeah. Do you at this point you want to just do like spring/summer and then like fall/winter instead of month by month, or how do you want to approach this?
uh, why don't we do April? So that's 6 months, and then we can just
Yep.
say after that because like May would be summer, so then we can kick into summer then.
Yeah. Let's do that.
April. Okay. Now I'm gonna. I really don't know because like there's tons of rumored characters, right? I feel like Doctor Strange would be really cool to get as a new character at some point to have a new play style.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Now
uh,
think seasonally. April Fool's Day.
April Fools, that's true. The
Any
Joker is a
jokesters out there?
DC character. um, I don't know. Is there anyone who stands out to you? Like Howard the Duck? Yeah, he's not on that list,
Yeah.
but
um. No, I really don't even know. Maybe someone Black Widow related. I don't know who her Echo would be. I'm struggling to remember some of the leaks,
so
so I'm pretty useless here.
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think that this character is on the leak list that went out like before launch. But I feel like a really strong Echo character, playstyle wise, not necessarily like lore or anything, but a good Echo in my mind for Black Widow would be Daredevil because of the batons.
Ooh, yeah, I would love that. I love Daredevil.
Same. Daredevil's one of my favorite Marvel characters. So like, if we get him in this game, oh, it's over.
That is co-host of Jedi Knight's Mike Connor's favorite superhero.
That's how we get him. That's how we get him.
Wow, if we get Mike Connors to play a Marvel game, like anything's possible.
Yeah. Uh, so that's the next 6 months, according to us. Um, to recap,
Bet
November,
on it.
November we get Kate and her content plus the cloning lab. December we get Clint and his new stuff. January is a big month. We got Wakanda as a social hub. We also have the raid and Black Panther. February we get Rhodey. March we get the next gen version of the game, hypothetically in my eyes, Spider-Man on PlayStation and Bucky Barnes for everyone. And we leave off with April being Daredevil. So let's talk summer. Let's just get broad strokes, like you said, summer and fall. What do you think the marquee aspects of the summer is for 2021 in Marvel's Avengers?
I think we get Captain America. Or, excuse me. Captain.
He's not dead, guys.
No. Man, imagine if they kept it that long.
Oh.
We get Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I think we get a continuation of where we left off with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we also had like the tease at the very end of the game with the what was the big character called?
The Sentinel thing.
Yeah, the Sentinel, right? It shot off something into space, presumably warning someone or another, and I think that's how we get Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
We also got confirmation that she exists in this world. Ms. Marvel is a super fan of Captain Marvel, so I think that would be a really cool interaction between those two. So I think that would be nice to see in the summer.
Yeah, I think it's a really good place to put Captain Marvel in because I think we're gonna get big story stuff from it. So I struggle then if it's gonna be the summer content or the fall content because like year two, feels like it's too far away to pick up on that loose thread of like any idea about what's happening with that Kree Sentinel, but yeah, I think summer is good vibes for Captain Marvel.
Definitely.
I'll throw in as well MCU skins.
Ooh, yeah, that's especially since historically the MCU dominates the summer, so I think that's a really good timing too.
MCU returns in the summer. Black Widow, as of
I
right
hope
now.
to God it returns in the summer.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if we'll get a seasonal event or anything. I don't know if we'll get like beachwear outfits for the Avengers or anything like that.
Oh
But
man.
a Point Break skin for Thor would be nice. But
Oh yes, that'd be sick.
in terms of anything else, though, I think summer's probably characters, maybe a big story thing. But I don't think we get a new raid or anything like that around then.
Actually, I don't know. I feel like the Wakanda update would be similar to the Captain Marvel update. I think they're both similar in scope.
Okay.
In terms of like story wise, so I don't know how they would do that with Captain Marvel, but it's possible that maybe we see a raid with her, because they're definitely teeing that up to be something fairly significant.
Yeah, like the fact that we were like kind of certain that she was going to be a secret character once you finish the story. It's like, oh, now Carol's here. And she's not yet, and they haven't talked about her yet, and she hasn't been teased yet. Like, I think you might be onto something. So, while getting 2 raids in 1 year seems a little ambitious, I'm going to say we get a Battle of New York raid.
Wow, that'd be awesome. Now, I don't know, are raids like in Destiny, for example, is that something you get only like once a year? Like, are they such massive updates? Okay.
The raid, at least, well, in Destiny, because we haven't seen how it works in Avengers yet, but in Destiny, a lot of people, like, the raid is the thing people play the game for some players. It's very extensive. Usually the first run, like a blind run when it drops, can take, like, upwards of 8 hours for a team to get through and, like, figure everything out, solve all the puzzles, figure out the tricks of it. So it's a really big deal. It's very dense content. I don't know if the raid-like content or the raids, whatever they're going to frame it as in this game, is going to be on that level of complexity. I think it's going to be probably the most high-level content in the game, so we'll see how in-depth that is and how they'll churn that out. But yeah, I think we're definitely getting at least one next year, for sure.
Yeah, definitely at least one. I actually didn't even know that the raids were all that complex. I remember like a while ago watching people play through one of the Destiny ones, and I did, now that I think of it, I do remember like sort of the cohesion that they had to sort of like talk about, and like there were puzzles involved, like what you said. So yeah, I hope it's along those lines, because that looks really fun.
Yeah, and with Destiny at least, a good raid will keep players active and happy for like a long time. So like they wouldn't need to do 2 if it's a really solid raid. That being said, the fall, the beginning of year 2, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we get crossplay then.
Yeah, I think that's a good expectation.
I think it makes sense. You know, by then I think the next gen versions will be out. You'll be able to play backwards on either console until then with the current version of the game. But yeah, crossplay in Avengers, it seems like something that they probably would have implemented if they had another 6 months. You know, the way they've talked about it is like, hey, we're really focused on cross-generational crossplay right now. So they're not saying no to crossplay. I just think it's further out than like PS4, PS5 crossplay, you know?
Yeah, I think a year out is reasonable to expect.
Yeah. But in terms of any other stuff for the fall, 1 year from now in this game, do you think anything major hits? Do you think we get a new Wakanda Captain Marvel level expansion? What does your gut tell you?
So would this be considered year 2 at this point?
September 3rd, I think, of next year would begin year 2.
Okay. I think a big year 2 update will be space.
Interesting.
Capital letters, space. Because I think that's a huge addition to this type of game. Like, right now we're focused on Earth and all that has to offer, so that's cool. But I think like if you really want to make a big splash with this game, space, baby. And I think the Guardians would be an interesting way to handle that.
Mm-hmm. I think you're onto something potentially. I've talked with Kevin Diaz about this, and remember there was that rumored Guardians of the Galaxy game also from Square Enix that was being developed by Eidos.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the way they're framing this Avengers game to basically just be the Marvel game universe within this publisher, not bringing in like Insomniac or anything, I could see them between now and fall next year. I could see them officially announce that Guardians game now that this game is shipped, just to tease it maybe, and then in the fall when they do introduce space, like one member of the Guardians shows up as like a playable character in this game to sort of tie in to the next Square Enix Marvel title.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it, so that you're not like pounding in like 7 characters or whatever it is all at once.
Do you have a pick for Guardian?
Definitely Star-Lord.
Okay.
Because I would essentially play him like Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Got those rockets boosting, and ranged character with his weapons. So yeah, all for it.
I'm gonna say Yondu because I think we're gonna get a slightly different Guardians team than we're used to.
Also, his arrow would be amazing.
Yeah, dude, Space Hawkeye, come on.
Yeah, and essentially, like, if you use that as, like, your assault heroic, and it just, like, whizzes around the whole space and, like, auto attacks.
Yeah, that'd be so
That'd
cool.
be awesome.
And lastly, just because of how excited and hopeful we were for it this year, I'll say we get Halloween.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, too. I mean, like, I would love just, like, a little pumpkin. Like, that's all I'm asking for right now, but I think we would get, like, an event next year.
Yeah, I think Destiny took a year to get the Festival of the Lost going after launch, I believe, for the initial game. So, yeah, 2021, Halloween, we get Marvel Zombies. Count on it.
Ooh, are there any specific, like, Halloween runs in Marvel Comics or any...
Marvel Zombies, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think there's a line called Marvel Zombies that I think they've told a couple stories in that line before, but I think that'd be very fun. I don't know what they would do. Maybe like a horde mode where it's like zombified versions of all the characters in the game at that point. I don't know, but that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, I think those are our official predictions. Count on it. Draft your tweets. Book it. It's gonna be a good year, 2021, for this Avengers game.
I agree. I think we nailed it, Christian. I think we definitely got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly how we're gonna be. Imagine though, we get to January and we got everything right so far. That'd be cool.
Yeah, man. If that happens, I'm not gonna shut up about the next like sections that we predicted. Like if we get everything up to like February or March, it's like so April, Daredevil, count on it. Summer, Captain Marvel, MCU. Fall, space, Guardians, Halloween. Enjoy it. You're welcome.
One day. I hope these are all correct. That'd be cool.
Yeah, same. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Maybe we're wrong immediately, we'll see, but until then, Jack, where can the agents of Excelsior find you?
Sure, you can follow me on social media at Fascinated Jack.
Very nice. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Chris and Buckley. This show is available in video form on youtube.com/joyclicks alongside a bunch of other shows like our Star Wars show, Jedi Knights, our Joyclicks Gamescast, as well as other video content that goes up throughout the week. Very appreciative to all the people who either watch the premiere live on Saturday, stay in the comments, we see ya, and the show is also available on audio services like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can rate or review on the show on that platform of your choice would be greatly appreciated, because taking it 5 stars just takes a second, and we love you for it. I think I forgot how to speak in that outro.
You made it through.
We did. We recovered. We stumbled a bit, but we made it, just like this game.
Exactly.
So that's gonna do it for this week. But until next time, Excelsior.
Excelsior.